Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Benchmark, they're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. The rapper jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. I ain't taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. You playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tuning now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. Bowser really.
Benchmark Podcast. What's up, bro?
Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob ENT Podcast. This is a little bonus episode because we had to keep this just as its own episode, as its own discussion, man, because it's an interesting topic, man, you know, but anti-vaxxers in the NBA, 90% of the NBA is vaccinated, but right now it seems like the loudest voice we're hearing are those that do not want to get vaccinated. We have players like Bradley Beal questioning, you know, the vaccine, and I'll give you the exact, you know, quote he's talking about. No one talks about the adverse reactions to the vaccine and how it impacts player health, but no NBA player has missed time due to the vaccine. Of course, you know, we have the president of this whole anti-vax conversation, Kyrie. We have Jonathan Isaac. We have Andrew Wiggins trying to have religious exemptions. What are y'all takes on the anti-vaxxers? What do you do as a GM, a coach, an owner when Kyrie, for example, if he doesn't get vaccinated, which a report came out before the show that they believe he will get vaccinated off the strength of his friend Kevin Durant suggesting it. But players like that, players like Andrew Wiggins, they asked Steph Curry at Media Day, if Andrew Wiggins does not get vaccinated, at least he's missing 41 games, the home games. Because in San Francisco, you are not allowed to even enter the arena or practice without being vaccinated. What do you do as a coach? What do you do as an owner?
You got to talk about the most interesting person first. It's got to be Kyrie. I go first in this conversation. And with the whole Kyrie situation, the fact that he's going to end up getting the vaccine, which I knew he was, because Kevin Durant was too confident. When they asked him about it, he was like, "Yeah, you know, we'll have him. He'll be here." So he knew that Kyrie knew he was going to get vaccinated when he was out there liking tweets about a chip in the Moderna vaccine and liking crazy tweets from conspiracy theorists and all that stuff. He knew he was going to end up getting vaccinated. This Kyrie is the ultimate contrarian without a cause. I'm pro Kyrie. Everybody listening to this podcast know I'm super pro Kyrie. I'm the leader of the Kyrie fan club, but I've had it. It's so annoying because you're literally creating a drama and headlines for no reason. There's no good reason. If you're going to get the vaccine anyways, why would you come out and when they ask you about, hey, are you going to play any home games? Why would you? And they ask about the vaccine because the two things are tied together. You say, well, that's a privacy issue. Please respect my privacy. That's not a privacy question. It's a public health question, and it literally is intertwined with basketball. If you don't get the vaccine, you can't play half of the games. In fact, you can't play most of the playoffs because the Nets will be a top 3 seed. So you're not playing most of the playoffs. It's insane. It's insane. Kyrie is literally a contrarian without a cause. There's no reason for him to come out and take the stance he takes against these things when you're going to, especially in this situation when you're going to do it anyways. Let's go down the track with Kyrie real quick. He misses 2 weeks of the season last week for no reason. I stood by him with that. I was like, whatever. Mental health, that's a big thing right now. I'll rock with you on that. Whatever. Even though it was upsetting. He stays out 2 weeks. Before that, when they go into the bubble, he's trying to rally everybody up and be Martin Luther King and talk about, hey, man, it's Black Lives Matter. I don't want to play right now. Okay, I understand that. That's fine. Radical idea because the NBA was going to lose a lot of money. And I know money shouldn't matter more than Black lives, and it doesn't. So I can rock with you on that. Fine. But this, the Nets have a chance, if they were healthy, to win 70-plus games. They could win 70 games. That's how good this team is. No cap, period. And you're going to get the vaccine anyways, but you're out there taking an anti-vaccine approach, liking crazy conspiracy theory tweets. and you went to an Indian reservation and didn't wear a mask and put all those kids at risk you were playing basketball with your tribe, Kai. What are you on? Like, it literally makes no sense. Kyrie it's insanity. It really is. It really is, yo. And you can't trade someone that volatile. So the Stephen A stuff has to stop. Because no one's trading for Kyrie Irving when he's that volatile. You don't know if that guy's going to just stop playing tomorrow to go live in a ditch somewhere. You just don't know where Kyrie's head is at. You don't. And the sad thing is, when he's in the court, he is the most brilliant point guard I've ever seen. Incredible. Like, the most brilliant point guard I ever got to watch offensively. There's no holes in his game. He's so much fun to watch. It's amazing. He's a basketball genius. But because someone's a basketball genius doesn't mean he's a real genius in real life. And if he's got so many fans that are kids talking about the earth is flat, talking about, the vaccine, by liking the tweet, you're co-signing it. So by saying the vaccine has a chip in it, you're sending out this false information. You're as bad as Trump. That's dangerous. What Kyrie's done, the ignorance is fine and childish when you talk about the earth is flat, whatever. But when you go and you put people at risk by putting out false information about the vaccine and all that stuff, now you're just dangerous and you're being an idiot. So we could cover all the other guys, but Kyrie's also one of is he not the vice president of the NBA Association? NBA Player Association?
I believe he's the president.
President?
Yeah.
And this is the leader. Like, so now you've got this issue where the NBA has to fight with the players about the vaccine rules. And the leader of it is anti-vax.
It's not many too, though. It's 90. Like I said, 90% has it. It's reports that is like these special group chats going around where they're spreading out, the fake news and the microchip, and it's directly connected to Satan and things of that nature with it. Something I want to ask that is on the ownership side, the GM side. Sean Marks mentioned that, by training camp, they will have Harden and Kyrie signed. They both have not signed. We all believe Harden's going to sign. Do you think for any second, if you're an owner or GM, are you even attempting to sign Kyrie back at this point? The goal was to have it done by training camp.
You're locked into it.
That should.
You're locked into it. You have no choice. If you're in the Nets, you have no choice. And you know that. If KD wants him there, you have to sign Kyrie. No questions asked. I don't think the hypotheticals. No, I mean, if you want to, if let's just say that doesn't exist, then fine. No, why? He's a headache. Fine, let him go. Don't trade him. You can't trade him. He's gonna retire. He's got you hostage.
Why do you think, Miles, Chris, if y'all want to answer, why do you think both have not signed at this point?
What, both Harden and Kyrie?
Kyrie, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Harden's more likely to sign sooner than later, but I mean, I guess they want to see how this plays out, how the chemistry with the team and whatnot. I mean, because all these guys are accustomed to being that guy on the team. So we'll see if they want to be, 1A, 1B, 1C on a team, if they feel confident in taking that back seat. Because, I mean, it's always going to be KD's team, but I don't know.
I feel like Harden will definitely sign. I mean, it's a perfect situation for him. I mean, we saw how it unfolded last year. He was the only one that could stay reasonably healthy, down the stretch. But for Kyrie, I think Greg brings up a good point is you don't know what's going to happen with him. You don't know what's going through his head. Maybe the reason he didn't sign is he doesn't know what he wants to do. It's not an unlikely thought that, like, hey, with everything with the vaccine and him feeling forced to get the vaccine, maybe he does want to hang it up, or maybe he just isn't sure. Like, I'm sure a huge part of him probably wants to continue playing basketball, but like he's so sporadic in the way that he makes decisions and things that he does that, he might just say, I'm going to hold off on signing this until, I'm 100% that I want to get the vaccine and I know I'm going to play the season. Or he's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
I think I'll go with the simpler route. I think for both of them, they're going to probably try to wait it out, maybe to even to the end of the season, because you probably get more money. Look at the country.
I think it's that simple.
I think that's the thing. But I think the thing, though, for the Nets, they should try to get this done as soon as possible to save money so they have more flexibility. That's why I think Sean Marks said the goal was to get it done before training camp. Now, at this point, I don't see them signing it. And I see it's going to be, hey, Run that checkbook up.
Do you take that chance though with the injuries that you had last year? Do you wait till the end of the season? God forbid you get injured again this year, and then
If I'm James Harden, Kyrie, they'll get it.
Come on, man.
They'll get it.
Yeah,
get it.
For them, that's not taking a chance. They're that good where you're gonna get signed off.
They
Now
could-
Kyrie is a different scenario because all the outside, off the court factors. Harden's gonna be here. Harden wants to play with KD, and KD signed this. KD's locked. 50 M's a year. It's locked. So I do think they'll wait because they can get more money at the end of the year. But like if you went to them and said, hey, can you take a discount? They might. They might. If we were talking about working out the financials, fine. Those guys are going to be here. I think Kyrie's going to be here just about the fact that that KD wants to play with them. But what pisses me off about this whole situation is another thing too. Outside of just like the public health, the dangers that Kyrie presents to like from a societal perspective by taking an anti-vax stance. You have a chance to win a championship this year. The Lakers have all been anti-vax. You don't want what's important to you, bro. Like if you're Kyrie, what matters? Like honestly, because the LeBron doing whatever he can to win a chip, and that team's gonna be really good. I don't care how old they are. That's BS. They're gonna be a very good team. So and they're gonna be in the finals waiting. So you have a chance to win one, and you're playing around with a vaccine when you couldn't go to school without getting a vax. You couldn't go to school without getting a vaccine. Now this is where you want to draw the line for Kyrie.
I think the other thing that we have to mention too, which I think is insensitive, and mentioning Kyrie and talking about other players, at what point does the support, you feel me, as a player stop too? Because at this point, like they asked Steph. Steph was like, it's not ideal to not have your starting small forward. Andre Iguodala had came out and said that I support Andrew Wiggins and his values. He's a very valued person. He's into spirituality. I respect that aspect. But at some point, if we talk about games being lost, and especially for these specific teams, Golden State, LA, which they don't have any problems, Brooklyn, these are teams that are pursuing a championship this year. I think, like we said, Kyrie's supposed to get vaccinated. That's the reports. But Andrew Wiggins, flipping on that side of Andrew Wiggins, Jason Tatum, still to this day, who had COVID, has to use an inhaler before games.
Facts.
Still affected by it.
People.
Cat lost 50 pounds himself and family members due to COVID, which presents my question. With players that have been affected by it, family members that have been affected by it, how does this cause a team's success to be altered? Because I know this has to affect chemistry on some levels. Like D'Angelo Russell tweeting that Kyrie's goated.
Is he vaxxed? Now I have that question. It does affect team chemistry. You're not willing to put anything. You're not willing to put everything aside to win it for the ultimate goal, what you ultimately play for, and also when there's the mounting evidence out there is that it protects you from getting COVID. 95% of people who are in hospital, COVID hospitalizations. I'm reading you CDC facts right now too. You can come to the show for anything on everything. 95% of people in hospitals right now with COVID cases are unvaccinated. 95, which means 5% probably make up the other half that are vaccinated. Just 5. Like the whole point of it is to prevent COVID and to limit the chances you get it, and also when you get it, to limit the symptoms. Period. Very simple. Cut and dry. That there's overwhelming evidence out there of it otherwise. Now you're telling me that dudes who don't do research, period, about anything in life at all, that don't read books, want to suddenly do research on this thing, it's of course it's going to affect the team.
And that's my problem with it too.
Team. But and that's a fair thing. And you jump right in here in a minute. I'm gonna leave you with this. For Steph, you have a chance. Steph, you've been bad the last couple of years. You've been injured. Clay's been injured, and nothing's lined up since those dynasty years. You have a chance now to get back on the high horse and be a top 4 seed in the West. And what happens? You're starting forward, who's underperformed his entire career, right? Is suddenly saying, "Oh, I'm not taking the vaccine." Why are you taking the vaccine, Wiggins? I don't have to tell you. It's none of your business. It's none of their business. You can't play home games, bro. Of course it's their business. Now it's a matter of public interest. It's a matter of the team's interest. It's a matter of public health. All 3 things are now intertwined. You don't get to say it's none of your business without there being consequences. There's consequences because guess what? They drafted 2 very talented threes in the draft, Moody and Kuminga, and both dudes they'll take his job.
Moody can shoot that thing too. They will be just fine without him. That's the thing no one talks about. They'll be just fine. And they have Iggy. They're deep at the 3. They'll be just fine without Wiggins. So don't think for a second that doesn't matter. He's not thinking straight. He better get out there and play and get the vaccine. Plus, was he not vaccinated for chickenpox or the measles? Did he not go to first grade? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand. Like, for real, Wiggins, and it would be Wiggins, though. It would be Wiggins. The dude don't say nothing. Dude has gotten a pass his entire career for being one of the worst first-round picks, first overall picks I ever seen. And now you're doing this, bro? That's whack. My bad. You go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to add much. I was just going to say, like, the problem I have with it is people that say, like, oh, I'm going to do my research. You don't know more than the people that specialize in this and do this for a living. What research are you doing? Because you searching on Google, that's not doing research. That you listen to other people's side effects, that's not doing research.
Kyrie's on Google and you see what he's talking about.
I mean, look,
come on, man. Like,
the thing that's so tough, and I want to get your takes on it, Ma, is there's a stereotype that athletes are just jocks. They're stupid. This is part of why some people have the belief, which I don't agree with and nobody on the show agrees with, of shut up and dribble. Because sometimes when some athletes do talk, they don't know what they're talking about and they sound very ignorant. Kyle Kuzma don't even know what the HIPAA.
None of them do. They keep misusing it.
No,
none of them know what it means.
He went on Twitter and Twitter
Yeah,
tore into him and gave him clear definitions of what HIPAA is. But Miles, Andrew Wiggins, Bradley Beal, which I don't think much people care about his stance on it because the Wizards probably is going to win 12 games this year anyway. What's your takes on both of these players and the players in general, Jonathan Isaac, taking a stand that we won't get vaccinated?
It pisses me off and all the. Just go ahead, Miles.
I mean, you can even just look at Towns and everything that's been going on in his life in the last year and a half. And it's like, imagine a guy on that team doesn't want to get vaccinated. It's like, how do I trust you on the court and off the court? Because you're putting me at risk. Like, if you're unvaxxed, there's more of a risk of you passing it to someone else. And, I mean, Cat's already had a bout with COVID. So it's like, you can't really develop the chemistry and the trust that you need to make it through a long season, because it's going to be an 82-game season. If your team's good enough, you'll make the playoffs too. And it's like, it's just one of those things. It always comes down to trust. And if someone's looking out for their best interest, they feel like Andrew Wiggins, even though, there's a lot of research done by these scientists and it's been proven that this is something that's going to help you against COVID-19, but you want to go against it because, well, he didn't really say why he wants to go against it. That's true. I don't understand it. And
I don't understand Bradley Beal.
Yeah, I don't understand Bradley Beal.
Incredibly selfish.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said? He was like, I had COVID. It didn't really affect me like that. I lost my smell. I lost my smell. He made it sound like a common cold. Yeah. You said that. He's so toned down. Let's give me perspective. He said that and works for the same employer as Karl Anthony Towns, who lost everything to COVID. His mom lost his mom. He had a bout with it. Like, family members, cousins apparently had passed away too. He lost so much. I lost a grandfather to COVID. Dude's talking about I didn't have nothing. I had no symptoms, as if it's not a big deal. He basically said, I'm hard body. Yo, that is wild.
That's the thing that's wild, crazy to me. And I think that's why I'm like, I don't know how this passes in these locker rooms, because somebody in that locker room got affected. It's safe to say somebody in each of these locker rooms personally got affected or had family members affected.
600,000.
So how in the world? And the thing that's so concerning too is some of these players are leaders of their team. So your leaders, your faces of these franchises are having these stands. You can't tell me then the rest of the players are going to be so apt to, I'm going to follow your lead. I'm going to go with Bradley Beal. I'm gonna rock with you, as Miles says. I'm gonna trust you. A lot of the times when you hear these championship teams, like, yo, we have fun off the court. We hang out. We love each other. Can I hang out with you, Brad? Because you're not vaccinated. Can I hang out with you, Wiggins? You're not vaccinated.
I've been seeing a lot of
Bill got it good because in Washington, he'll play his home games. He'll be at practice. Nobody's gonna probably view them, but he'll be there. Another star that is concerning, Devin Booker came out. I'm not going to tell you guys if I had the vaccine or not, but you could still get COVID with the vaccine. For anybody that's saying that, educate yourself. Educate yourself.
Educate yourself, man. It's just, but don't, like, here's the thing, though. These guys are really good at basketball. They got a lot of fans and supporters. Support them for what they do well. They play basketball well. They put a round ball into a basket at the highest level. That's amazing. You're not following them for policy or for the way they lead their lives. Do you have to make the distinction? If you're a parent at home and you got a kid who loves the game, like, you got to be able to make sure they know the distinction, because they're hearing this stuff. Like, you can't miss it. Like, if you watch basketball, you can't miss the stupidity coming out of these guys' mouth. You can't. So that's the thing. And I keep saying a lot of my body, my choice. People are getting very selfish and granular with this thing. Let me tell you something. This could get political real fast. We can go where we can take it a lot of different places. They don't keep the same energy about every issue. That's all I'm gonna say. And I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. They don't keep the same issue about it. They don't keep the same energy about every issue. The side of the fence that's really struggling with this more than anything else is the right. Okay. Now, these players are obviously not on the right that are against this. I understand, right? You hear the religious part of it and all that stuff. Hey, let me ask you a question. When has a Christian male ever had a religious exemption for anything? When? We don't celebrate Ramadan. We don't have like long periods of time. Christmas. There's not no crazy time off. We need Christmas off. Like, what are we talking about? So now this is where you draw the line. Bro, you got vaccinated as a kid. You had no choice. You could not operate in America without a vaccine. Those pose the same threat as this? Doesn't it pose the same threat when you take Tylenol and your head hurts? It don't make no sense. They're all passed by the CDC. Like, it's wild. So now the distrust of the government's here on this issue. Where were these players? Where was this distrust when black athletes were getting killed in the streets? Where was this distrust of higher powers when Cap was booted out of the NFL? Y'all didn't galvanize on any cause until this one. This is the cause you guys chose. This is why I got no faith in humanity, bro. Because people are stupid as all hell. It makes no sense. Tell me how.
Perfect thing. We want to end this episode with this. What was your thoughts? I know we all saw it. I know we all heard it. On Dez Bryant calling out Cat and basically saying he been MIA. He hasn't done anything. He had a plan. He decided to take a stand, but he hasn't done anything since. There's a lot of people that he said lost their jobs because of support of him. And, Jamel Hill went on at him at Twitter saying he was wrong and Cap has done plenty of things outside of, what we saw. What was y'all takes on Dez Bryant calling out Cap?
I don't care what Dez Bryant has to say. Yeah. What Dez Bryant has to say is so unimportant, it doesn't matter. But that's what I'm saying. This all goes back to the point about the NBA guys. He's really good at catching footballs. Don't listen to these guys about stuff that actually matters. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Like, just separate the entertainment from the person they are. Because you can't take societal advice and things and civil rights advice, like just serious topics. You can't listen to guys like Dez Bryant about it, and simply for the fact that they're just not educated enough. That's it. But you want to talk. You talking about something you don't really know, bro. What are you saying? Do you know Cap did nothing? You're not going to talk about the Know Your Rights movement. You're not going to talk about how he's gone from city to city around America, helping out the underprivileged youth, New York, Chicago, LA. The charitable donations he's made is incredible. And Cap is an American hero. The sacrifice he made is symbolic.
Right. He wants to talk about people losing their jobs. He lost his job.
Right. It's the biggest donation Cap could have made. It's bigger than any check he could have made in his check. Any check he could have written in his checkbook. Is the fact that he did what he did. That to me makes him a hero. Point blank. Period. Dez, you can't listen to. His name is Dez. He didn't know a full name. What the hell is his name? Is his name Desmond or like his name is Dez? What are we talking about? Like, get out of here. Give me a break, bro. His name is Dez with a Z. You listen to a dude named Dez? You're gonna listen to a guy named Dez with a Z on serious stuff? Come on, Dez. Give me a break. Give me a break. So go to bed.
Oh man.
So what's his name, bro? Look up his government name, bro.
At the end of the day, man, it's times like this, and we're gonna close. It's times like this where you have the NBA players speaking out. Even Dez, who when he started, before he spoke, said that he was waiting for a long time to have an opportunity to say something. So that's something that you supposedly really thought about before you spoke, and that's what he came up with. It makes it hard for players like LeBron, for example, that had the initiative, that had the whole movement of shut up. We're not going to shut up and dribble. We're more than athletes. The whole initially started with more than athletes, because then you have athletes like these last couple of days speak out. And it's like,
so guys, real quick though, where are those people who told Bron to shut up and dribble? Why aren't they telling these guys to shut up now? Because they're aligned on this issue.
We know
because they're just as stupid.
We know. We know.
Yeah,
we know.
Come on, bro.
We
bro, don't let this turn to it. People don't like me now. Don't let this talk into that. Don't just get there, bro.
Because it's like when they do stuff like this, I'm sitting back too, looking like it's very irresponsible and insensitive, because there are kids that don't have the discretion and the ability to decipher and to pick out something that my bishop said when I was young, the church I grew up in. He said, no matter who it is speaking, sometimes what you have to do is take the meat out and throw away the bones. A lot of the fans that support these players are not able to do so.
Facts.
Of separating the meat and keeping the bone. So with that being said, it's very concerning, because there's youth, and it goes back to Charles Barkley when he was in the league saying, I'm not a role model, but initially and essentially, because they have these platforms, especially now, a Devin Booker. There's some kids that's listening to this that believe what they're saying, that believe a Kyrie, that believe a Devin Booker, that believe a Jonathan Isaac. There's somebody somewhere that's a Christian like, hey, no, Jonathan Isaac said it, so I'm not getting it.
Yep. Jonathan Isaac's jersey sales went up too after some speech he had a couple years ago. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was all based on the premise that he was Christian. So like you said, when you use religion as a galvanizing force and you're spreading misinformation with that the combination of the two things is it's evil. People it's like to say I'm radical with this type of stuff. I think it's evil. You are using something that people galvanize around, like religion, to push a BS narrative. Because you're selfish. Just because you're selfish. That's all it is. That is evil. And you're going to get people killed. Some deaths are going to be on these guys' hands. Blood's on their hands. Period. And when it happens, because we already had 600,000 deaths, how many more do you need to see? For real, how many more Carl Towns there have to be before you really wake up? How many more grandfathers got to die? My grandfather died from it. How many people got more? How many people have to die from COVID before people wake up? We can't agree on anything in American society. Nothing can be agreed upon. We're always at each other's necks, right? But it's all for political gain at the end of the day. We're all just pawns in a bigger game here, man.
Political gain, and the other thing, as a humanity across the world, we are all selfish.
Facts.
We are all selfish, and it's very revealing at a time like this across the world, where people are dying, all races, all ages, all walks of life, and we can't agree on this. We're
screwed.
That is very telling right there.
Screwed.
But I'm glad everybody on this show got vaccinated. And as Bron said, he might not be on board with it, but he said, I got the vaccination to protect me, my family, and my friends because I care about them, because I love them. Shout out to y'all.
Leave it to the GOAT to do the right thing.
Exactly.
Leave it to the GOAT.
If y'all want to follow,
I bet you Michael Jordan wouldn't have got vaccinated. I'm sorry.
Y'all know the vibes. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Benchmark, we out. For real, for real. Peace.